You have done the homework, you have sat on the couch week after week, you have told the story out loud, sometimes through tears, sometimes with numb detachment, so many times then you can count. You know every twist, every turn, every potential trigger, and every neat little insight your therapist has ever handed you intellectually. You get it. You understand the mechanisms, the patterns, the origins of your pain. You can articulate it beautifully and sometimes poetically. Yet, despite all that cognitive understanding, that tight, suffocating band around your ribs still shows up. All physical symptoms, fears, old patterns, and negative thinking still exist. And it is very frustrating. You have followed all the instructions, hoping for relief, for release, for the trauma to finally loosen its grip on you. But a part of you still feels trapped, still reaching to ghost from the past. Why? Here is the uncomfortable truth, the one no one really prints on the intake forms or discuss in the initial sessions. Talking, powerful it is, but it can only take you so far. It engages the thinking brain, the neocortex, the part that makes meaning and narrates experience. But this is not the place where trauma is hiding. It is lower, quieter, largely unmentioned, perhaps even ignored in most traditional therapy rooms. It's not just in your head. The real cause and effect is in your very cells, your bones, your genes, and your breath. Hello everyone, my name is Rhea and I am a certified mental health professional. I'm very passionate about helping you overcome mental and emotional health issues. This channel is all about bursting the myths and teaching mental health related information, telling information based on neuroscience-based tips, techniques, skills which anyone can easily practice in their daily life. My goal is to clear up the misunderstandings and fears around trauma and mental health issues. This channel is all about educating and helping you heal in the simplest ways. So, ready for a little experiment to understand trauma today? Okay. Close your eyes for a second if you feel safe enough to do so. Now, picture the last time you snapped at someone, or went numb, went blank, or overreacted at someone, or overreacted at yourself for something insignificant. Or when someone showed a genuine concern and asked you, "Are you okay? How are you doing? Do you need something? Or is everything all right?" And you reacted. That reaction, that snap, that sudden emotional paralysis, it was not a moral failure on your part. It was not a sign of weakness or character flaw. It was biology, pure and simple. Your nervous system, this incredible ancient system designed to keep you alive, is still trying its absolute best to finish something it never quite got to complete. Think of it like a massive, essential software download that keeps stalling at 99%, forever looping, forever consuming resources, but never quite reaching completion. The half part of the secret is the corrupted, incomplete file need to be acknowledged, validated, translated in your own words, full sentences, and interpretations. And that's the role of talk therapy, and it's very important role. But this is only beginning. Now this curious student can move on to next level of learning, which is making sense of those initial, raw, and organic trauma stories. Understanding how those experiences impacted their personality, perceptions, defense mechanisms, coping mechanisms, decision making, a general rationale to live, survive, and manage this world. At this level, people generally move on to learning from different type of therapeutic modalities, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, narrative therapy, and other therapeutic models. Sadly, this is still incomplete work. Trauma healing goes more deeper because it's in your flesh, blood, and nervous system now. It's woven into the very fabric of your being. And no amount of clever narration, no matter how insightful, articulate, will ever truly drag that corrupted file into a completed folder. You can talk about your issues your whole life, in counseling sessions or with people around you, but that's not trauma processing. You are only venting, which is going to make you feel good only for a short time. Everything gonna come back again. Let us zoom out for a moment and look at the bigger picture. For generations, most of us are sold a rather comfortable idea that if we could just construct clear, compelling story about our past, it could articulate what happened in a way that would make sense, and the past would somehow magically lose its grip. So what do? We become master storytellers. We keep refining and polishing the narrative, saying same thing differently. We thoroughly craft these verbal accounts. We feel great by intellectualizing and connecting all dots of cause and effect. Back of our mind, we are hoping that if sentences come out perfectly polished, the panic, anxiety, fight, flight, triggers, responses will politely and permanently will exit my life. Talking it out seems like an easy path in comparison to feeling the pain, accepting it, and learning different tools to release it from body and mind. But here is the profound disconnect. While our clever linguistic brains are busy making meaning, the body, that ancient, wise, and often ignored vessel, is still screaming. It is screaming in a language other than words. It's a language of sensations, impulses, and physiological responses that our neocortex often struggles to translate. Forget about controlling it. Your heart rate variability, it runs like a sports car. Your vagus nerve, that incredible pathway of peace, forgets how to sing its calming lullaby, leaving you feel constantly activated and triggered. Micro muscles in your neck, in your jaw, your shoulders, they are tightening due to an impact that ended perhaps 30 years ago. Still holding the tension, still preparing you for a threat that is not here, not now. If a real threat is not here, your fear brain keep creating negative scenarios in the future and assures you that you are going to fail again, so be ready. It wants you to be on alert all the time, and it consider happy and fun moments are distracting. So it did not let you live in the moment, relax and have fun. It keeps giving you worst case scenarios inside your head so that you remain over vigilant, suspicious, and analytical so that you never face the same trauma again. In other words, trauma is not holding you. You are the one who is holding trauma. Can you see how unreasonable we become unconsciously and remain that way for a long, long time until some terrible diagnosis about health shows up? We think we are being smart and careful by overthinking, by overanalyzing, being perfectionist, being safe, and remaining in the zone of fear, doubt, and negative mindset. I hope you are finding this helpful and all of this making sense to you. If yes, I would love you to like and subscribe so that you could continue receiving new videos without looking for them. If you know anyone else who is holding these symptoms and mindset and not agreeing to go for professional help, or maybe they cannot afford it, share it with them. Maybe something will inspire them. When one person is getting better, it impacts everyone around them. So, thank you for playing your role in supporting others in real way. Now, traditional talk therapy, despite having its incredible strengths in fostering insight and emotional processing, rarely touches these deep embodied signals in the system. Why? Because frankly, it was not designed for that. It was designed to make meaning, to help us understand basics, and to build narratives that can help us navigate the world. Speaking is a cognitive ability, and it is designed for the functioning of cognitive brain, not the reptilian brainstem or the limbic system or nervous system where trauma truly rules the court. Talk therapy was designed to help us open up, tell stories, not to metabolize the raw, surging adrenaline that still floods our system when a memory, even a subtle reminder, can trigger our sanity and ruin the whole day. This mismatch, this profound gap between what our mind knows and what our bodies feel explains why you can intellectually know that you are safe, that the danger has passed, that you are an adult now. You are capable and resilient, and you will still feel like you are helpless. You will feel you are controlled by other person and situations. You will feel like you are an adult in a child's body with childlike fears, assumptions, beliefs, coping, and management. And all of that is coming from your wounded inner child, not your adult self. Knowledge building is that comforting and rational understanding which you build through talk therapy. but it sits up in your neocortex, the executive suite of your brain. But trauma camps out in the prime limbic real estate, the emotional core, and even deeper, the ancient reflective brainstem and in subconscious mind. Trying to reach these places with insight with words alone is like trying to do a real surgery with a PowerPoint presentation. That's why it don't work. The body has its own story and it demands to be heard in its own language. Your subconscious is holding all secrets, even from traumas of past generations in your family tree. This is not a matter of using common sense. Do this, do that, and fix the broken fan. Now let us try to understand that why the body keeps the score. Well, when anger, abuse, emotional hurts, traumas floods the system, whether it's a sudden threat, a prolonged period of stress, or an overwhelming event, our survival circuit flips on with lightning speed. Is primitive, powerful, and utterly essential to keep us alive. Now we know the classic trauma responses are fight, flight, or freeze. But there is also a fawn response. The fawn response to trauma is a survival coping mechanism where a person appease or please others by self-sacrifice or overdoing to avoid conflict and ensure their safety. This is often achieved by suppressing their own needs, desires, feelings, and opinions. This person never say what they want and what they think. All these responses are not by choice. It's an automatic, hardwired, biological necessity. A person is trying to cope, manage, survive, and feel safe in their environment or with that person. Now here is the critical part. If the organism, which is you, cannot discharge that immense activated energy, that surge on adrenaline and cortisol on its own through words, that intense emotional charge, that raw survival energy doesn't just evaporate. It gets stored in whole system. It gets locked away. Your smart, rational mind advises you to remain busy in overworking or self-sacrificing so that you don't have to face the same powerful and painful emotional charge again. Now it don't get stored as a neat and reasonable memory you can easily recite and release by words. It is stored in felt sense. It manifests as physical symptoms and emotional reactions. It will show up in form of terminal illnesses, sleep issues, mental health disorders, addictions, unreasonable behaviors, and person choosing to live in toxic relationships. It can also show up in the form of constant clenching in your jaw, a chronic tension in your pelvis, a shallow breath that never quite go deep, a tightness in your body. The body, in essence, becomes a living, breathing time capsule, holding on to the energetic imprint of those past unresolved moments. It's a silent, but it's a like somatic echo chamber whose original sounds only you can hear. Later, sometimes years or even decades later, when things happen randomly, such as a certain tone of voice, a particular smell, a feeling of being trapped, feeling disrespected, a sudden loud noise, a specific behavior, the same physiology, the same survival surge roars back with full power. You think you are reacting to present moment, to that annoying colleague, the traffic jam, the unexpected bill. But your body is reacting to, I don't know, 1998, to that moment when helplessness it felt, the feeling of being overwhelmed and unable to escape. It is responding to the past as if it is happening now, because the charge was never fully discharged. Your body is still trying to finish the fight, flight, or freeze that it could not complete back then. And now she go into the same traumatic stage whenever she get triggered, either by some memory, some word, some statement, or any similarity to the traumatic incident or abuser in the past. So the body, your body, with all its wisdom, is stored history, is urgent messages, remains, is like elephant in the room. You might leave the therapist office feeling intellectually lighter, armed with new insights and a better story, but somatically, physiologically, and at subconscious level, you are still carrying the same root causes in your genes, cells, mitochondria, neurons, and neural pathways. Over time, because it's so constant, so familiar, you start to believe that those pains, those beliefs, those coping methods, this chronic tension, this shallow breathing, this underlying activation, it's just part of who you are. You might even mistake it as your strength or resilience. I know how odd it sounds. You might have heard many people saying, I want to sleep longer, I'm stressed out, I'm overwhelmed, I want to take rest, but I'm still pushing myself every day. And they say it in a proud manner, as if they should be rewarded for this self-torture, for this self-sacrifice. Please educate yourself. This is not a health-oriented and scientific mindset. This is a scarcity and fear-based mindset. It's avoidance, which is causing physical and psychological harm at a deeper level every day. And that's not how you can live a healthy and happy life. Okay. So if body is the archive and words can't always do the work, how do we access the secret language of body? How do we heal body and subconscious? How do we finally complete that stalled download and complete it? This is where we get practical, where we begin to understand the actual mechanics of healing embodied trauma, not just yours, but from your ancestors as well. That is sitting in you, in your genes, bones, muscles, nerves, your blood group, every corner of your brain. The nervous system, the intricate, intelligent network, speaks primarily in sensation, not the words. To truly update its threat map, to tell that the danger has passed and it's safe to relax now, you have to descend from attic of thought and your common sense, where all these clever narratives reside, and come into the basement of feeling, where the raw, unfiltered sensation live. That descent, that willingness to lean into bodily experiences, is the secret most traditional models mistakenly skip, or they consider it secondary. It's not about ignoring your thoughts, it's about expanding your awareness to include what's happening beneath the neck. So, ideal approach requires healing beyond words, working on nervous system, working on subconscious mind, and your specific daily practices. This may sound complicated, but all of this can be done in a smooth flow using specific science-based approaches, which would also need customization. In my one-on-one sessions, I address deep-rooted psychological causes which are often hidden at subconscious level, and you may not even be aware of it. Since I utilize more than 6 therapeutic methods in my signature level, in my signature style, including energy cleansing, clients receive results within few weeks and quite often within few days. You can read more details of my specialized program in the pinned comment and the description box below. There is another way. If you are looking to learn and practice neuroscience-based techniques and methods and tips all in one place to practice at home as per your convenience, you are welcome to buy my books. Names are Heal Your Inner Child and Growth Mindset Blueprint. Heal Your Inner Child book is full of methods. It also has inner child healing guided meditation, and it will help you heal from childhood trauma wounds. And Growth Mindset book is for those who have processed their traumas and now they need help to build their best version. If you are not a book person, Audible options are also there. And I think first 1 month or 3 months, something like that, you will get free when you are buying my books. It's just Audible do it on their own. Both books are receiving great reviews and people are finding them practically helpful. So I would advise you to give it a shot and build this new habit of learning from books, which are just one resource. It can be any other book as well, whichever you could find resonated with your learning style. So learning from different resources is helpful for brain too. Don't forget to watch the part 2 where I will be teaching why your nervous system have those triggers and how you can overcome them on your own right away without using any exchange of words, any talk therapy, or talking to others as well. So I will see you in my part 2. Bye for now.